I call Tracy Martin.
Kia ora, Mr Speaker. I rise on behalf of New Zealand First to make a short contribution to the debate on this bill. New Zealand First will be supporting the bill. At second reading, however, my colleague Dennis O'Rourke quite clearly outlined our reservations around and our concerns. And interestingly enough, while I admire Catherine Delahunty as a hard-working member of this House, the reasons articulated by Mr O'Rourke were the complete opposite. Mr O'Rourke believed, and on behalf of New Zealand First articulated our belief that there is a need for severe, if not more severe, punishments inside this sort of a legislation. And we base that upon the concept of the invisible man, and it's a concept that's been talked about since the internet has been around. It's the concept where if human beings believe they are invisible and will not get caught, there are some very strange things that they will do. There are some very strange places that they will go to and behaviours that they will perform that they would never perform if they, one, thought they were going to be seen, e.g. the invisible part, and two, if they thought they were going to get caught. And then getting caught, they have to see that there is actually, they have to weigh up in their own minds, is getting caught and the punishment worth taking this chance? So for us, it's around that invisible man theory, and it's around updating several pieces of legislation and to address what the Minister quite clearly articulated as issues that have arisen in magnitude since the invention and the widespread use of the internet. So New Zealand First will be supporting the bill. We would like it to go further in certain places. I want to acknowledge the Minister's explanation of her supplementary order paper at committee stage for two reasons. One, the recognition and the ability for recognition with ACC around mental injury. And I think if the Roastbusters case highlighted one area where we have got some issues is that those young ladies, because no case was brought, while they suffered trauma, special access to counselling had to be provided because there was no actual crime committed. So therefore, they could not, under current pathways, access ACC or access trauma support. So in a way, that supplementary order paper recognises mental injury from grooming and other situations that take place that are objectionable through these medium. And the second thing that the Minister's supplementary order paper did was close this loophole about New Zealanders who assist foreigners to perform such acts or take part in such acts overseas. And the Minister, because those are quite large, that's quite a large piece to put inside a bill at committee stage, so I've certainly appreciated the Minister standing and speaking on those. At the time of the committee stage, I raised the fact that, and the Labour colleague Claire Curran has raised, the Digital Harm Bill. We are updating and modernising and amending several pieces of legislation with this single bill. It does need to make sure that there is a coordinated line at how we're going to treat this across all pieces of legislation, and I hope to have further discussion with the Minister, Amy Adams, around the Digital Harm Bill before it returns to the House, and whether these changes actually provide the criminality required or the sentencing mechanism required inside these other pieces of legislation, so that perhaps in the Digital Harm Bill we can set in place the approved agency, we can set in place the requirements of the service providers, the takedown notices and those other things, but possibly we don't need to create another sentencing regime because they can be covered under these. And that's a conversation I would very much like to have with the Minister going forward. However, we believe this is a piece of legislation that must be here. New Zealand First will support it. Would have liked to have seen it go further, but we'll support it as we go on. Kia ora.
Porter Williams.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Far be it from me to stand between the hard-working members of this House and their